For 20 long years, he had walked a path not his own, a hero in a foreign land. Today, the weight of that journey would culminate in a final, desperate battle. The monstrous foe before him, a creature of raw power, taunted him, questioning his very endurance. Around them, the so-called allies, the saintess, the mage, the knight stood by, their faces betraying little of the true struggle. Hero Lee Hyun-seok, weary but resolute, prepared for the ultimate strike. With a surge of power, he lunged, his weapon a searing blade against the darkness. Yet even as he struck, his companions recoiled, their faces etched with a strange mix of fear and something else. The monster roared, its voice echoing across the desolate landscape, claiming dominion over this very land. Lee Hyun-seok met its fury head-on, his resolve unyielding. Even as the monster's power threatened to consume him, he endured the monstrous blow, a blinding impact that shook the very ground beneath his feet. Then with a fierce cry, he unleashed his ultimate power, the paradox flame of force unlike any other. The clash was cataclysmic, a maelstrom of light and shadow, as hero and monster exchanged blows that could shatter worlds. The very earth fractured and tore asunder under the sheer force of their battle, a testament to the monumental struggle. He pressed his assault, each strike fueled by years of sacrifice and a burning desire for an end. But the monster endured, its hide unyielding, leaving Lee Hyun-seok gasping, a fresh wound marring his face. The beast mocked him, calling his efforts soft, daring to question the hero's strength. Yet Lee Hyun-seok merely scoffed, his gaze unwavering, a silent promise in his eyes. "Soft, you say?" he challenged, his voice a low growl. "It is more than enough to cut down your arrogance." The air grew heavy. The monster, confident in its might, declared no one in this world could stand against it. But Lee Hyun-seok, with a chilling calm, revealed his truth. "I'm not from this world." His eyes, though scarred, held a depth of understanding, a weariness that spoke of a long, arduous journey. The monster's gaze narrowed, a flicker of unease in its crimson eyes. Lee Hyun-seok pressed his advantage, observing the monster's struggle to regenerate, a consequence of his unique power. He explained the nature of his paradox flame, a black fire that consumed not oxygen but abstract concepts, memories, and reason itself. "Its fuel," he declared, "is your very existence." The monster recoiled, its form racked by the consuming flames. Even as it faced erasure, the monster clung to its last shred of malice, warning Lee Hyun-seok of his companion's true intentions. From the shadows, the saintess emerged, her face a mask of feigned concern, urging the hero not to trust the monster's words. But Lee Hyun-seok merely looked at her, a profound weariness in his eyes. "I know," he stated, the weight of years in his voice. The monster, with a cruel smile, laid bare the saintess's deceit, her seduction a calculated part of a plan to eliminate him. The saintess flinched, her composure shattering under the monster's damning words as Lee Hyun-seok's gaze pierced her. It then exposed the knight's greed, his reward for betraying the hero, and the emperor's fear of Lee Hyun-seok's power. And the mage, a practitioner of abhorrent human experimentation, despised the hero simply for opposing the brutal slavery system. In short, Lee Hyun-seok revealed, his voice devoid of emotion, "I have known of their treachery for the past 5 years." The monster, now fading, offered a final poignant question: "Do you want to go home?" In that moment, the hero's scarred face reflected a profound longing, a silent plea for release from this wretched world. The monster's red eyes seemed to soften, a flicker of understanding passing between them. He remembered his past life, an ordinary office worker, suddenly thrust into this fantastical realm by a goddess to be its savior. But this world which he was meant to save was a disaster in and of itself, filled with cruelty and despair. For 20 long years he had trained, fought, and endured, all to protect a world that never truly accepted him. He recalled being turned away from a village, simply for being the hero, despite his efforts. He had rescued a child from the clutches of monsters, only to be met with indifference and disdain. The guards, callous and cold, suggested he should have left the child to die, deeming it a waste of medicine. The child's screams of agony echoed in his memory, a stark reminder of this world's barbarity. He witnessed the brutal amputation of a leg, a desperate measure for a simple infection due to the scarcity of healers. All healers were mobilized for battle, leaving the innocent wounded to suffer. A grim reality of this so-called civilization. Then, the priests, those who claimed to serve the gods, revealed an even more horrifying truth about the child he saved. They declared the child possessed by a demon and without hesitation prepared to exorcise it, a fiery ritual of torment. They condemned his pity, his human rights, as useless, urging him to cast aside such weakness for salvation. Back in the present, Lee Hyun-seok looked at his betrayers, a quiet resignation in his voice. It's over. He turned his back on them, a profound sense of relief washing over him, knowing his long ordeal was finally at its conclusion. "You know something?" he murmured, his voice laced with bitter truth. "I really hate this world." The knight, witnessing the hero's raw contempt, could only curse under his breath, his own treachery laid bare. Lee Hyun-seok, battered and broken, reflected on his fate. A monster created to catch another, now discarded. He looked skyward, demanding the goddess fulfill her promise, his mission completed, his debt paid. And there, bathed in golden light, the goddess appeared, her smile serene, acknowledging his arduous efforts. Lee Hyun-seok reminded her of their pact, his memories, experiences, and soul preserved, in exchange for his return to Earth. The goddess listened, her expression unreadable, as he spoke of his longing for home. She questioned his desire to leave, despite his immense power, warning that his achievements here would be void. He scoffed, a dry, humorless sound. He knew her relief was palpable, for this world no longer needed its monster. "Cut it with the act," he retorted, his voice sharp with disdain. "This world no longer has a need for a monster after all." The goddess, her serene facade wavering, asked if he would truly have no regrets. Without a word, he let go of his staff, the weapon that had been his companion for 2 decades. It clattered to the ground, a symbolic end to his heroic journey in this forsaken land. He looked at his empty hands, a silent farewell to the life he had been forced to live. Then a blinding light enveloped him, pulling him away from the battlefield, away from the world he had saved. He questioned the goddess about his new vessel, sensing a hidden truth. She revealed it would be a body fated for a wretched end, but his resolve was unshaken. He would face any fate, no matter how harsh, if it meant returning home. And then he awoke, the soft bed, the quiet room. He was back. He stretched, a sense of relief washing over him, grateful to be free from the rotten otherworld bastards. A glint caught his eye, a mirror. He looked at his reflection, a new face staring back. A young man, unfamiliar yet undeniably him. "So you're me from now on," he mused, a new chapter beginning. He discovered the wonders of his old world. Clean, uncontaminated water flowing freely from a tap. And fire, instant and effortless at the press of a button, no more arduous wood chopping. A wide, genuine smile spread across his face. This was what he had missed, the simple comforts of home. Then the ultimate revelation, a box of fried chicken, a delicacy he hadn't tasted in 2 decades. His eyes widened, saliva gathering as he held the golden brown piece, a treasure beyond measure. He ate, savoring every bite, the taste a symphony of forgotten flavors. Tears streamed down his face, not of sorrow, but of pure, unadulterated joy. This was real food. "I missed this so much," he whispered, overwhelmed by the profound sense of belonging, of being truly home. He pondered the flow of time between worlds, but ultimately it mattered not. He was here. Yet even in his moment of peace, a red beam of light pierced the city skyline, a new shadow looming, hinting that his journey was far from over. After years of endless battle, a simple shower with hot water flowing without pause was a luxury beyond measure. He gazed upon the clear, bright sky of this world, a stark contrast to the grim, war-torn landscapes he had known. This was peace. Little did he know, Vale. A stark contrast to the shadow, unseen, war already torn loomed over his shoulder. This was harbinger of the peace chaos to come. A sudden was peace, a shatters the calm shadow. Already recoils, the phantom touch of danger still fresh in his mind. His eyes widen in disbelief as a chilling announcement echoes through the building. A voice of dread in the quiet morning. A corrosion rift had appeared. The words themselves carried a weight he knew all too well, a threat from another dimension. What in the world was happening? The peace he had so desperately sought was already crumbling around him. And then they appeared. Grotesque figures, their masked faces a mockery of humanity, emerging from a crimson tear in reality. He moved, a blur of instinct and honed reflexes, dodging the encroaching horrors that swarmed his home. His mind raced, grappling with the impossible. What were these creatures? What hell had followed him here? With a desperate leap, he shattered the window, escaping the immediate threat, but into an unknown danger. He found a moment's reprieve, catching his breath in the dim corridor, believing he had outrun the nightmare. But then, a small voice broke the silence. A child, innocent and unaware, asking about the very monsters he had just fled. The boy, Yoon Seong, looked up at him with earnest eyes, asking him to join. A strange request, yet one that tugged at a forgotten part of his soul. And so, against his better judgment, he found himself tagging along with the child who spoke of corrosion rifts as if they were a common occurrence. The boy calmly explained that these rifts were exits for monsters, their origins and appearances a mystery to all. Yoon Seong questioned his ignorance, forcing Lee Jeol to concoct a hasty, unbelievable excuse about living in America. The boy's innocent chatter about presidents and daughters only deepened the comedic absurdity of his situation. Yoon Seong then spoke of Lee Si-yoon, a renowned hunter of the Janabi Guild, currently battling a monstrous threat. Before the boy could reveal too much, Lee Jeol quickly silenced him, his hand a desperate barrier against further revelations. A sudden, chilling presence, his senses, honed by years of battle, screamed a warning. He saw them, more monsters, lurking in the shadows, their numbers growing. His eyes, sharp and calculating, quickly assessed the threat. 5 no 6 in total, one hidden from plain sight. The weight of the child's vulnerability settled upon him. He could not leave Yoon Seong to face this terror alone. Then a faint sensation. The air grew heavy, charged with an energy he recognized. Mana, it was here in this world. His eyes gleamed with a newfound hope. If Mana existed, then his paradox flame, etched upon his very soul, could still be wielded. With a surge of power, the paradox flame erupted, striking one of the grotesque creatures with searing force. The monster shrieked, consumed by the ethereal fire, its form twisting into ash. He unleashed the flame, a beacon of blue light in the encroaching darkness, protecting the wide-eyed child beside him. The purple flames devoured the remaining monsters, leaving only scorched earth where they had stood. Yoon Seong gasped in awe, calling his power a unique skill. Lee Jeol, though weary, was relieved the boy was safe. The boy's innocent chatter about YouTube earned him a stern, if slightly bewildered, reprimand. Lee Jeol, still grappling with this new world's oddities, firmly advised the child to cease his viewing habits. He turned, the last monster crumbling behind him, a silent testament to his power, as he spoke to the wide-eyed boy. More creatures emerged, but he met them with swift, decisive strikes, a dance of death honed in countless battles. Each blow was precise, each movement fluid as he cut through the monstrous horde, a protector against the encroaching darkness. Yoon Seong watched, utterly captivated, his small face alight with wonder and admiration. Lee Jeol stood, weary but victorious, the weight of his past and present converging. This was not the peaceful rest he had yearned for. His jaw clenched. He had endured hell only to find another battleground. This world was no different from the one he had left behind. They made their way to the underground shelter, a sanctuary filled with the anxious murmurs of survivors. Yoon Seong, ever the lively one, complained about being called a little brat, his youthful spirit undimmed by the surrounding fear. A woman's desperate cry pierced the air. Yoon Seong's mother, Yoon Seok, rushed forward, her face etched with relief and fear. She embraced her son, thanking Lee Jeol profusely for his protection, unaware of the true extent of his sacrifice. But the fragile peace of the shelter was short-lived. A tremor, a sound of splintering concrete, sent a chill down his spine. A monstrous fist, black and brutal, tore through the reinforced wall, shattering their illusion of safety. The shelter wall collapsed, revealing the terrifying beast that had breached their defenses, plunging everyone into chaos. Its maw, filled with razor-sharp teeth and a grotesque tongue, loomed large, a symbol of their impending doom. Panic erupted, a wave of desperate screams and frantic movements as people realized their sanctuary was no more. Yoon Seong, his voice trembling, urged Lee Jeol to run, the reality of their peril finally sinking in. Li Jiol looked down at his bloodied hand, a fresh wound from the battle. All he had asked for was a simple, peaceful life. He had longed for his home, a place of quiet solace free from the endless struggle. The wound on his palm throbbed, a physical manifestation of the unending conflict that seemed to follow him. He turned to Yoon Seong, questioning the boy's resolve. Why seek battle when he could hide, safe and comfortable? Yoon Seong's gaze was unwavering, his young face hardened by a grim understanding. He explained that even their safe, underground bunker had been breached. There was no true sanctuary left on Earth. And then, with a fierce determination that belied his age, Yoon Seong declared his purpose: to save the world. His mother tried to pull him away, but Yoon Seong resisted, his eyes fixed on Li Jiol. He called out a desperate plea, a silent challenge to the weary warrior. Li Jiol turned, his gaze falling upon the boy, then the encroaching monster. A new resolve hardened his features, mana swirling around him once more. Saving the world, the words echoed in his mind, a heavy burden, a new fate, and he, Li Jiol, would answer its call. After 20 long years battling monsters in another world, Yu Chanseok had finally returned to Earth. He demanded his found survival solace in the digital realms, a stark contrast to the brutal battlefields he once knew. Battling but the quiet comfort of home, monsters in the simple joy of a cold drink. Seok could not erase the harsh reality of his present. His severance pay, a fleeting comfort, had vanished. The world he saved once again demanded his strength, but first it demanded his survival. The constant threat of rifts had corrosion crippled society, rifts leaving him jobless. Comfort, a hero, the searching for a world he means to lives saved once again demanded his strength. Then a new path emerged from the digital glow of his phone: hunter recruitment. A familiar call to arms, yet in a world subtly different from the one he knew. And so, his journey led him to the towering edifice of the Hunter Association, a beacon of hope for those who dared to stand against the encroaching darkness. Within its halls, a new generation of hunters gathered, their faces a mix of eagerness and apprehension, all seeking to prove their worth. Among them, 2 observers watched with a detached air, one deeming the selection a mere formality. He believed that in these times, a unique skill was all one needed to be chosen, a sentiment that spoke volumes of the current state of affairs. But his companion, a man with a more cynical eye, saw only a sea of mediocrity, dismissing them as small fries. He spoke of this batch being the best, a statement that would soon be dramatically challenged. For then, a ripple of shock and awe swept through the room. A name was uttered, one that commanded instant recognition and respect. It was Lee Si-yoon, the 10th-ranked world hunter from the formidable Janabi Guild, making an unexpected appearance. Her presence alone shifted the very air. Whispers spread like wildfire. Why was such a high-ranking hunter here in person? Was the Janabi Guild scouting for an exceptional talent? As the candidates were reviewed, a young woman named Han Sang-ah, a Hunter Academy graduate with electrokinesis, caught their attention. Her potential was debated, some seeing her skill as promising, others questioning its practical application in true combat. The cynical observer, now more animated, emphasized the brutal reality of corrosion rifts. Real combat, he declared, was far removed from academy training. Lee Si-yoon, however, remained silent, offering only a piece of candy to the boisterous man, a subtle gesture that spoke volumes of her quiet confidence. The arena lights flared, signaling the commencement of the first match. The crowd stirred, ready for the spectacle. Lee Si-yoon's gaze, however, was fixed on a different prize. She sought a talent so profound it would compel her to claim it for her guild. And into the bright arena stepped Yu Chanseok, still adjusting to his new name, yet carrying an unspoken weight of past battles. He stood there not merely for a job, but with a renewed purpose: to save this world, a world he had already saved once before. His opponent, a cocky spearmaster, smirked, confident in his own abilities, utterly unaware of the true power that stood before him. The 2 warriors faced each other across the arena, one radiating arrogance, the other a quiet, almost unsettling calm. "Fight!" the announcer roared, and the spearmaster lunged, his weapon wreathed in flames, believing his opponent to be an easy target. Yu Chanseok met his gaze with an unnerving composure, a silent challenge in his eyes. The spearmaster boasted of his undefeated record, his fiery spear a blur, aiming for a swift, decisive victory. But Chanseok moved with impossible speed, effortlessly evading the strike, his words cutting deeper than any blade. A single, precise blow landed, a testament to raw physical power, not mana. The spearmaster reeled, his confidence shattered, the impact echoing through the arena. Chanseok, almost apologetic, reflected on his restraint. He had held back, fearing he might inflict too much damage. He found the Hunter Academy's standards surprisingly low, a stark contrast to the brutal training of his past world. From the stands, the observers were perplexed. Chanseok, a former logistics worker, possessed almost no mana, yet his strength was undeniable. The cynical man struggled to comprehend it, wondering if it was sheer luck or something far more profound. Lee Si-yoon, however, saw deeper. She recognized a deliberate choice, a hidden power, as Chanseok consciously suppressed his mana. Chanseok, feeling the need to make a statement, decided to end the match decisively. With a final swift movement, he brought his opponent to his knees, utterly defeated. Lee Si-yoon's eyes narrowed, a flicker of intense interest igniting within them. She had seen enough. While others were still processing the unexpected outcome, she knew her moment to act had arrived. She needed to see his true skills. She rose, her destination clear, the association president. A plan was already forming in her mind. Chanseok, meanwhile, watched the subsequent matches with growing disappointment. The Hunter Academy's recruits seemed woefully unprepared for true combat. Then Han Sang-ah stepped into the arena, her presence drawing a collective gasp of admiration. She stood poised, a katana at her side, her reputation preceding her. The announcer questioned if she could halt the mysterious rookie's march. Chanseok, observing her, noted her significant mana accumulation, a clear sign of her awakened ability. Sang-ah, confident in her power, dismissed Chanseok's previous victories as mere luck. Chanseok, in turn, questioned the generic bravado taught at the Hunter Academy, a subtle jab at her overconfidence. Sang-ah drew her katana, a surge of electricity crackling around it. She would not hold back. Her eyes glowed with fierce determination, ready to unleash her unique skill. Chanseok, however, offered an almost condescending thanks, stating he was holding back his own skill to avoid hurting her. Sang-ah launched her attack, her sword transformed into a railgun, a blinding flash of electricity streaking across the arena. The attack was swift, powerful, a testament to her mastery of electrokinesis. But Chanseok, with uncanny precision, dodged the lightning-fast strike. He moved with such grace and speed that he appeared to float, the deadly attack passing harmlessly beneath him. Sang-ah's eyes widened in disbelief. He had dodged her railgun attack with a simple jump. It was impossible. Chanseok, ever the strategist, calmly analyzed her technique. Understanding the magnetic rail she had created in the air, he acknowledged her skill but pointed out her critical flaw, her focus on speed over strategy. She had prioritized a quick attack, neglecting the crucial timing and placement that would make it truly effective. With a confident smirk, Chanseok questioned the wisdom of creating such an obvious attack path. Sang-ah, enraged, refused to believe his words, vowing to defeat him even without her signature technique. She unleashed a flurry of electric-infused strikes, a desperate attempt to overwhelm him. But Chanseok effortlessly evaded each blow, his movements fluid and precise, a dance of pure combat mastery. He observed her reckless use of mana, knowing it would eventually take a toll on her body. He decided to end the fight, offering her a chance to surrender. With a steely gaze, he delivered a powerful blow, a testament to his raw physical strength. The impact was devastating, sending shockwaves through Sang-ah's body. Another strike, swift and brutal, landed squarely. Sang-ah crumpled, defeated, her face a mask of shock and pain. She fell, her katana clattering to the ground. The arena silent in the wake of Chanseok's overwhelming victory. The audience, including the observers, watched in stunned silence, unable to comprehend what they had just witnessed. Chanseok reflected on her defeat, attributing it to her over-reliance on mana and neglect of physical training. But then, a flicker of defiance. Sang-ah, despite her injuries, attempted to rise again. Chanseok, surprised by her stubbornness, recalled his own words, "A a wry smile playing on his lips. Suddenly, the announcer's voice boomed, interrupting the tournament. A change in schedule. Chanseok was confused. The match was over, wasn't it? But then came the dramatic announcement. A special match between the winner Yu Chanseok and an active hunter. The cynical observer, now wide-eyed, realized the truth. Lee Si-yoon had gone to the president. The audience's excited reactions confirmed it. His next opponent was a formidable hunter. Chanseok understood. This was a test, a challenge from Lee Si-yoon herself. And there she stood, Lee Si-yoon of the Janabi Guild, her presence radiating power and authority, a massive sword strapped to her back. She offered him a chance to refuse, acknowledging the suddenness of the challenge. But the weight of her rank, the 10th in the world, hung heavy in the air. Chanseok felt the immense aura emanating from her. This was no bluff, she was a true professional. In his current body, even with a spear, it would be a formidable task. Yet a subtle smile crept onto his face. This was exactly what he needed. Lee Si-yoon, observing his reaction, sensed his eagerness. "You're fired up, aren't you?" she asked, a knowing glint in her eyes. Chanseok knew this was his chance. To achieve his goals, to truly save this world, he needed to prove his worth. And for that, Lee Si-yoon was the perfect opponent. He gripped the provided spear, a determined grin spreading across his face. "Shall I raise my value?" he mused, ready to unleash his true power. The arena thrummed with the roar of the crowd, yet for Yu Chanseok, only the relentless assault of Lee Si-yoon registered. He was pushed to his limits, his body screaming in protest. Her blade, a blur of cold steel, descended with merciless precision. Each strike was a testament to her overwhelming power. Yet her exhaustion, desperate power blocked, the impact jarring his very bones. A cornered woman whose might beast seemed to mock his own, yet seemed met the boundless, desperate power block, a force that defied his understanding. Strength of his opponent, a cornered woman whose might beast seemed to mock his own. Across the vast arena, the clash continued, a dance of destruction. Lee Si-yoon moved with fluid grace, her every motion a calculated threat. But even in her dominance, a flicker of concern crossed Lee Si-yoon's mind. His speed, though diminishing, still held a surprising resilience. Chanseok, meanwhile, cursed the limitations of his current vessel. His mind, brimming with ancient knowledge, yearned for a body that could truly execute his will. Lee Si-yoon, observing his struggle, spoke with a chilling casualness. She had expected him to fall far sooner, surprised by his unexpected endurance. With a swift, decisive motion, she drew her greatsword, its massive blade glinting under the arena lights. The true fight, it seemed, was about to begin. Chanseok felt his mana reserves dwindling, the very air around him barren of energy. He was cornered, with only one desperate gamble left. And so, with a grim resolve, he unleashed it. The Paradox Flame, a power he had hoped to keep hidden, now forced into the light. Lee Si-yoon's eyes widened, a rare spark of surprise in their depths. The raw, untamed energy radiating from him was unexpected. Engulfed in crackling blue and black flames, Chanseok surged forward, a living inferno. He moved with a speed and power he hadn't shown before. Lee Si-yoon, caught off guard, was forced to dodge, the searing heat of the Paradox Flame licking at her heels. The arena floor shattered under the force of his attack. She stared, a hint of disbelief in her gaze. He had dodged her attack, an impossible feat given his previous state. This was no ordinary opponent. Chanseok stood, his body wreathed in the volatile flames, his clothes burning away. He was a phoenix, reborn in fire, albeit at a terrible cost. The tattered remnants of his shirt clung to him as he held his spear, the Paradox Flame still dancing around his form. He was a vision of raw, desperate power. He moved again, a sudden burst of speed that defied logic. The ground cracked beneath his feet as he closed the distance. Lee Si-yoon's expression hardened. He was faster, far faster than before. The Paradox Flame was truly a fearsome ability. Chanseok lunged, his spear a streak of burning light. The air crackled with energy as he aimed for a decisive blow. Her surprise deepened, not only faster, but he had recovered. This boy was an enigma, defying all her expectations. Their weapons met in a furious clash, sparks flying as mana collided. The force of their exchange reverberated through the entire arena. Lee Si-yoon noticed a strange phenomenon. The mana in the air fluctuated wildly. It was not the arena's doing, it was something else, something tied to Chanseok. Chanseok, battered but unyielding, met her gaze. His eyes burned with an unshakable resolve, refusing to break. He pressed his attack, his footwork precise and relentless. Each step was a testament to his enduring spirit. Lee Si-yoon, forced onto the defensive, spun and dodged, her movements a blur. This fight was far from over. Despite the brutal exchange, Chanseok found a moment for a cheeky grin. He could still keep going, he declared, challenging her patience. He pushed further, a mischievous glint in his eye. Did she like opponents who simply refused to quit? Her smile, however, was not one of amusement. It was a predatory, chilling grin that promised swift and painful retribution. And so, the battle concluded. Chanseok lay defeated, utterly spent, his body aching. He could only beg for mercy. To his surprise, Lee Si-yoon offered not a final blow, but a simple lollipop. A strange gesture after such a fierce contest. The audience, equally bewildered, murmured in confusion. A lollipop? What kind of victor's prize was this? She presented the sweet treat, along with a business card. A reward for his hard-fought effort, she claimed. Chanseok examined the card. Lee Si-yoon, Janabi LLC, Team 3 Partner Hunter. The world of hunters was opening up to him. She instructed him to call, promising further details. The weight of his future now rested on this single contact. As the announcer declared him the winner, Chanseok pondered the name Janabi. Was it a hunter's agency, a path to his new life? He took a bite of the lollipop, the sweet taste a stark contrast to the bitter exhaustion in his body. A new chapter had begun. As he walked, a towering figure approached him. Hunter Yu Chanseok, the man's voice boomed, his presence commanding. Yoon Seong-hyun of T-Beak LLC loomed over him, an imposing presence. His sheer size and aura were intimidating. Chanseok read the business card. Yoon Seong-hyun, partner hunter of T-Beak LLC. Another powerful guild sought his talent. Yoon Seong-hyun spoke of a bright future under his guidance, promising experience and renown. His words were enticing. Chanseok hesitated, a prior engagement already weighing on his mind. He couldn't give a firm answer just yet. Yoon Seong-hyun's smile twisted into something more menacing. He wasn't accustomed to being denied. A heavy hand fell upon Chanseok's shoulder, a silent warning. The air grew heavy with unspoken pressure. Yoon Seong-hyun leaned in close, his gaze piercing. He advised Chanseok to think very carefully about his decision. In that moment, Chanseok's choice was clear. He would definitely be skipping T-Beak. Some invitations were best declined. He made the call and Lee Si-yoon directed him to the Hut, a cafe on the second floor of the Hunter Association building. Soon he arrived at the quaint cafe, its sign proclaiming its unusual name, the Hut. Lee Si-yoon greeted him warmly, already seated. She welcomed him, her smile bright and inviting. Chanseok recounted his encounter with Yoon Seong-hyun, describing the huge guy who tried to recruit him. Lee Si-yoon nodded, understanding. Yoon Seong-hyun's personal interest meant other guilds wouldn't even dare to make an offer. She then proposed an alternative, working as a freelancer, unburdened by guild affiliations. Chanseok was intrigued. Yoon Seong-hyun, she explained, would likely have offered him a junior position within his guild, a starting rank for new hunters. Chanseok, unfamiliar with the hunter hierarchy, asked for clarification on the ranks: junior, senior, and partner. The structure, he mused, sounded remarkably similar to a law firm with its tiered partnerships and salaried employees. Lee Si-yoon clarified that one didn't necessarily need to climb the ranks. A direct path to partner hunter was possible. Chanseok understood, achieve fame and results and the guilds would come seeking him. His reputation would precede him. Lee Si-yoon, ever the enigmatic one, offered him another piece of candy. Chanseok wondered at her constant sweet offerings. Yet a crucial problem remained. Without connections or experience, securing proper requests as a freelancer would be nearly impossible. Lee Si-yoon, however, offered a solution. She would help him free of charge. A surprising act of generosity. Chanseok, ever cautious, couldn't fathom her true motives. Why would she do so much for him without expectation? She revealed her true intent: to put him in her debt. In the future, when he was renowned, he would remember Janabi. She presented him with a request: a patrol mission to Jayadongdo Island, a corrosion zone where a rift had formed 2 years prior. His task was not to eliminate the rift but to patrol the island for new ones and deal with any that appeared. A dangerous scouting mission. He reviewed the terms: a month-long mission, 5 million won upfront and 15 million upon success. The pay seemed meager for the risk. The weight of the life-threatening job settled on him. The compensation felt inadequate for the dangers he would face. Lee Si-yoon, with a knowing smile, advised him to get stronger and become famous. Then, money would flow effortlessly. Chan-seok looked up, his eyes filled with a new resolve. He would take this first step no matter the cost. Elsewhere, in the back of a luxurious car, Lee Si-yoon's team discussed the new recruit. Was he truly good, they wondered. Lee Si-yoon confirmed his name, Yu Chan-seok, a civilian who cleared a weapons mandatory tournament with his bare hands. Not bad, her team leader remarked. Not bad was an understatement, Lee Si-yoon retorted, her team member's jaw dropping. She had practically spoon-fed him openings, yet he lasted 4 hours against her. Her own experience was forged in hellish places, and she should have toyed with him. 4 hours, it was an astonishing feat. Yet a team member voiced a concern. The Jayadongdo Island mission specifically requested hunters with prior experience. Chan-seok had none. His skills might be excellent, but could he truly hold his own alongside veteran hunters in such a dangerous zone? The team leader, a stoic figure, placed his hand on the hilt of his sword. He trusted Lee Si-yoon's judgment. All right, he conceded. Lee Si-yoon was the brains of Janabi, and he would trust her decision regarding the new recruit. He then posed a final, intriguing question to Lee Si-yoon. What would that kid be like if he ever reached her level? Lee Si-yoon considered, then spoke, her words carrying a profound weight. If Yu Chan-seok ever reached her level, he would become a force beyond imagination, a true world saver. The fate of the world perhaps rested on this young man's shoulders. In the quiet corridors of a modern dwelling, a delivery man, weary from his task, Yu Chan-seok apartment 1506. A simple delivery, yet for Yu Chan-seok, it marked the beginning of a new chapter. A new life in a world he barely recognized. He sat, contemplating the spear, an artifact of immense power now his to wield. Its length, a testament to the grand scale of his new reality. Flicker and of artifact of determination immense ignited in his power eyes, its crucible of length past battles testament to the elity, ready to face the unknown. With a faint smile he acknowledged the spear, a weapon now perfectly suited to his burgeoning strength. For a month he trained relentlessly, the elixir a catalyst, his body a vessel for the boundless mana of the world. He would grow precisely as much as he needed. Soon, the day of his first mission arrived. Hunters gathered, a murmur of anticipation rippling through the air. His identity confirmed, Hunter Yu Chan-seok was assigned to Squad 8. A simple formality, yet one that would bind his fate to others. He listened, a subtle surprise crossing his features as he heard his name. Han Sang-ah, her once wild hair now tamed, explained her previous appearance. A small detail in the grand tapestry of their shared journey. She proposed a partnership, a common goal. But Chan-seok, ever the pragmatist, questioned the necessity. Sang-ah, with a dramatic flourish, feigned awe at his perceived strength, a playful jab at his stoic demeanor. The mission briefing began, a solemn voice outlining the dangers that lay ahead. Chan-seok listened intently, a silent observer amidst the assembly, wondering if the words were meant for him, the newcomer. The officer explained the corrosion rifts, classified by their escalating danger, a stark reminder of the threats that constantly loomed. Their mission, to patrol Yukni-rai and Jayadongmyeon, to identify and eliminate any new rifts that may have appeared. A fellow hunter voiced his concern, questioning the wisdom of sending a rookie on an elimination mission. Chan-seok remained unfazed, his expression betraying no emotion, the weight of their words seemingly lost on him. As the briefing concluded, Chan-seok turned, his path already set, Sang-ah following close behind. The squad gathered, discussing their strategy. Chan-seok, however, had a different plan in mind. He presented his proposal, a map on his phone pointing to a strategic location. The other hunters, unfamiliar with his presence, questioned his authority, his experience. He calmly explained his reasoning, the tactical advantage of Hwag's temple, a vantage point for their patrol. But his logic was met with resistance, the fear of being surrounded, a fear he dismissed with a casual wave. Chanseok sighed, a silent acknowledgement of the stubbornness he encountered, a familiar obstacle in every world he had known. Without a word, he moved, a blur of motion, his mana subtly radiating, catching the attention of a seasoned hunter. The hunter, concerned for the two rookies, offered his protection, a gesture of unexpected kindness. Chanseok accepted, a polite facade masking his true thoughts, a hint of sarcasm in his internal monologue. Suddenly, a jolt of awareness, a primal instinct screaming danger. He halted abruptly, his foot digging into the earth, the air growing heavy with an unseen threat. The accompanying hunter, startled, called out, questioning his sudden stop. Chanseok, with a knowing glance, urged silence, directing him to peer over the ridge. The hunter's eyes widened in disbelief, a chilling realization dawning upon him. He whispered of a horde, at least 50 creatures, a number far too great for their small group. Chanseok, calm amidst the rising panic, inquired about the hunter's unique skill, a strategic query in the face of overwhelming odds. His gaze unwavering, he pressed for an answer, for it was natural for hunters to fight, not flee. The hunter, Kim Minji, revealed his skill, flame, and his most confident attack, fireball. Minji's face contorted in shock as Chanseok commanded him to attack first, a bold and unexpected order. Even Sang-ah, usually composed, sought guidance, the weight of the situation pressing down on them. Minji argued against the recklessness, reminding Chanseok of his supposed inexperience. But Chanseok knew better. Calling for aid would be futile. They would not arrive in time. To radio for help was to risk scattering the creatures, turning them into a wider threat. The shadows of their potential escape loomed large. Minji, understanding the grim truth, conceded they were alone. In that moment, Chanseok took command, declaring their only path, a surprise attack. With swift precision, he sketched their strategy in the dirt, assigning roles, a plan born of countless battles. Minji watched, a profound sense of wonder and unease settling in his chest. This was not the strategy of a rookie. The creatures, grotesque and numerous, stirred, their presence a palpable dread in the air. With a fierce cry, Minji unleashed his fireball, a searing blast of flame towards the heart of the horde. The flames erupted, engulfing the creatures, their forms writhing in the inferno. Chanseok moved with blinding speed, a whirlwind of motion, his spear a deadly extension of his will. Dividing roles he knew was essential for maximum efficiency. He carved a path through the monsters, protecting Minji, buying time for the next fiery assault. Though he could not block them all, he held the line, deflecting blows, the air filled with the shriek of the creatures. Meanwhile, Sang-ah prepared, her blade crackling with energy, ready to strike. Her face was a mask of fierce concentration, her resolve unyielding. Mana surged around her, a radiant aura, as she declared her readiness. Chanseok, with a sharp command, cleared her line of fire, urging her to unleash her power. His eye, a pool of golden intensity, focused on the enemy, his intent clear: annihilation. The spear flew, a silver streak against the sky, a testament to Sang-ah's precision. It pierced through the monstrous forms, impaling them with brutal force. And there he stood amidst the clearing, the battle won, the silent aftermath a testament to his leadership. The world, for now, was saved. Its end mission neared its end, a routine sweep. Chanseok explained the collection of monster byproducts. Collection of monster microchips, he revealed, marked fallen beasts for junk dealers, a grim necessity. He detailed the practicality: monster corpses were too bulky for hunters to collect. Its end. Cold efficiency prevailed. Cold efficiency prevailed. Nothing was wasted. Trust was paramount, requiring careful contracts. A world of fragile alliances. But the ground shattered. A colossal shadow loomed, a monstrous form erupting from the earth. Chanseok, with a swift kick, shielded his companions. "Are you okay?" he demanded. Spear in hand, his gaze fixed on the threat. The air grew heavy. His eyes narrowed, sharp and calculating. Danger was undeniable, and there, in terrifying glory, was a mid-boss. Its malevolent aura promised dread. A cold realization settled. This was no ordinary monster, its power was immense. Was this the leader? The question hung heavy, a chilling whisper. The mana was overwhelming. "I'll handle this," he declared. "Do not interfere." His companions argued for retreat, but Chanseok's resolve was unyielding. "Stop talking and get back." The force of his command, the intensity in his eyes silenced them. They could only watch. He stood alone, spear ready. He would unleash his full power without restraint. With a defiant glare, he challenged the beast. "Come on, you bat bastard." His companions watched, edged with concern. Shouldn't we be helping him? But a closer observer noted a crucial detail. Though pushed back, he hadn't been hit. Chanseok danced a whirlwind of calculated movements. His spear was a blur. The female hunter's eyes widened. This was mastery, not struggle. Then a devastating thrust. Chanseok's spear found its mark, piercing flesh. He turned a chilling, confident smile. A predator utterly in control. His companions stared, awe and disbelief washing over her. His true abilities unfolded. The monster roared, thrashing. Chanseok was relentless, each strike precise. He spun, dodging a massive claw. His body honed skill. Then an unexpected flourish. He hurled his spear skyward. His companions gasped. He had thrown his weapon, seemingly vulnerable. The monster lunged maul-wide. "You Chanseok SSI, watch out," they cried. Time slowed. The attack met the returning spear, plummeting from above. The spear struck true, impaling the beast. It crashed to the ground. Silence. Chanseok surveyed the creature. It still moved after such a blow. His eyes hardened. Its resilience demanded a final, decisive strike. His companions watched, dumbfounded. The battle, a whirlwind of power. He seemed to struggle, yet the monster lay defeated. What power had been unleashed? He turned to Kim Minji, tone calm, retrieving his spear. They discussed the anomaly. A high-caliber monster on Jayadondo Island. Chanseok deduced the chilling truth. The Alpha Corrosion Rift escalated to Grade 3. Implications were dire. A Grade 3 rift meant perilously thin survival chances. His companion urged saving other hunters, but Chanseok's answer was stark. "I reject." He couldn't save everyone. His limits were real. Their mission was to eliminate rifts. In this brutal world, not all could be saved. Kim Minji challenged him. What would he feel in such a situation? Resentment begging for salvation? Chanseok understood but remained unshaken. He was swayed by outcome, not emotion. Feelings were a luxury. "Don't be swayed," he warned. Such a mindset led to ruin. Later they found a building untouched by corruption. A small respite. Night fell, darkness concealed both danger and opportunity. The building offered sanctuary, but unseen threats still loomed. Lights were dangerous, a beacon for enemies. Chanseok had to act with caution. The mid-boss's terrifying visage haunted him. The threat escalated. He resolved to send a warning to all hunters. He mused on the corrupted zone. It would vanish once the rift's energy was gone. Then a realization, a simple, profound truth. What then? This is simple. His companions slept, trusting him, unaware of his decision's weight. He left an alert device, a silent guardian. He faced the threat alone. He set off, confident in the rift's location, a path from the briefing. But then a sudden, unexpected sound. Alarm flickered in his eyes, a wry, self-deprecating smile. "Ah, I jinxed it. Fate had other plans."